right before crypto crashed, I had this Metaverse company hitting me up, trying to pay me a fuckload of money, like many millions of dollars, to basically do Metaverse porn with my girl and other guests or whatever. And at first, I'm like, this sounds stupid as fuck. And then they like keep stressing. I'm like, all right, if this is how much it's gonna pay, I will take some days out of my life to film this Metaverse.
Sure,
porn.
I'll get in a threesome.
Yeah, well, but with like little probes all over your body and like a green screen background and all this weird shit that we're gonna have to do for the Metaverse thing, I think, right? But then crypto crashed, and then they just stopped emailing me, and I was kind of relieved.
Yeah, we have a buddy who's close by. I'm not gonna say his name, but because he has the Oculus, and I'm like, you ever watch porn on the Oculus? He's like, dude, watching porn on the Oculus, and you have like that dick sucking machine. He's like, it's the best experience of all time.
How do I not know about this?
Dick sucking machine.
Yeah, like I guess it like just I don't know. You put it over your dick, it's just like zzz, it's like a little machine that just fucking.
I want like a car wash for my dick, like with little like brushes and like soap and.
Yeah, you could do something like that.
Because I mean. I haven't been in the porn metaverse, but my friend AD, he was saying he went in it, and I was like, how was it? And he goes, it was weird. I had a white dick. he's like looking down at like a white dick for the first time in his life in the metaverse, which I guess he maybe just didn't update the shade, if you can do that. But
yeah.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
I don't know, dude. Like I refuse to like jerk off with lube, or like I didn't even like watch porn when I would jerk off for the longest time. I would just jerk off to my memories, and now I watch porn more often.
I had to stop porn, man.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
Mr. Addicted to Everything.
That's exactly right.
I haven't busted a nut in 130 days.
Oh damn,
Wow,
dude!
you're into all this shit that these kids like, huh? I'm into crypto, edging, semen retention. That's sick.
No, I just got into therapy for like severe intimacy shit.
Oh,
and so they're like, you should abstain, for a certain period of time to like rewire stuff. And then like they have at like 60 days. I'm like, so could I bust a nut again? And they're like, no, because you asked. And I'm like, what? And then I haven't asked, and I'm on like 130 days, and I'm just like, dude, like I want to ask, but then I don't want them to be like, you're not ready because you asked.
You haven't had a wet dream?
No.
I used to have wet dreams before I figured out how to jerk off when I was a kid.
I got on my hands and knees like 3 days ago and prayed for a wet dream. I was like, dude, please just let me some kind of relief.
I figured out jacking off way before any goo came out.
See, I was such a late bloomer. I didn't figure it out till I was like 13 or 14.
Oh yeah, dude. I like
I was like 12 when I first jerked off.
We had this shower that like there was like a bathroom that opened up to the backyard in the swimming pool, and the shower had like a foot faucet to like wash your feet. So I somehow just figured out that if I crawled underneath the foot faucet and put my wiener under there, like that it was rad.
Didn't you have a bathtub?
Yeah, but it's tough to crawl under and get your wiener under that faucet. This was just somehow worked really well. So I would like be under that fucking thing. You said you jerked off 9 times in one day. I definitely fucking climaxed with my wiener under that faucet 9 times in one afternoon.
Wow.
In 7th grade.
I've done like 5, and I thought that was pretty extreme.
Yeah.
But I've only banged 5 times in a day. I've never even considered masturbating that many times.
Yeah.
But when I masturbate, like the other day I jerked off twice before I left the house. And to me, like, it felt like I had just smoked a bunch of cigarettes, because I don't smoke cigarettes, but like sometimes if I do, it means I'm like kind of in a degenerate state.
Right.
Like recently I only got like 2 hours sleep, and I had a full day of interviews, and I fucking bought a pack of cigarettes. So I was just smoking them because it's like somehow that feels right to me when I'm like burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of feel about jerking off. Like it's like maintenance in a way, because it makes me like chill the fuck out. But then also if you do it too much, it's kind of like it's just this like weird habitual behavior of like, I'm gonna make myself calm down by doing this stupid thing to myself over and over. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
You just leave the house, your skin's all oily, and you just have shame. And
I don't even.
What am I doing with my life?
I don't oil my dick up, so realistically, I might have some chafing if I were to beat it that many times.
Yeah.
Or I could just find some oil. I don't know.
So you and your girl do porn together?
Yeah.
So your girl does porn?
So she does porn just with me, and she mostly just does the OnlyFans shit, and then we have a show together called Plug Talk, available at onlyplugtalk.com, where basically we interview chicks and then we bang them together. And that's what I'm doing right after this.
Wow, dude.
So you're going to bone today.
Yes.
Do you know who you're going to bone?
I do.
Can you say the name?
It's like Little Quiche.
Dude, that's pretty impressive.
I mean-
so that's like an open relationship.
Well, but not really, because like I don't fuck with other girls in my regular life. She doesn't fuck with other guys, but we do stuff with other girls on camera. So besides the content, we have a normal monogamous relationship.
Do you have to like in OnlyFans? You have to like cut next scene, or is it just because it's you're gonna get into the mode? You just keep going.
You kind of have that decision to make in general when you're making porn. Is like, do you want to make it all about getting the best possible image where you actually like frame up every single shot like the way they do in a movie, and where you're thinking about the lighting and you're thinking about like exactly like making this shot just look as good as possible? Or the way we tend to do it more is like, let's just actually have fun. Let's make this like closer to us actually just having a threesome, and maybe every single shot doesn't look perfect because the cameraman's capturing, one of the girls fucking waddling over to fucking get into a different position or whatever. But we try to like err on the side of it being more real,
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. How'd you start that conversation? Like, why'd you do it?
So, Vitaly?
Yeah.
Vitaly, did you have him on recently?
No. But he was on Roman Atwood's podcast.
Right, yeah, he's done a bunch recently. So Vitaly, I've interviewed and stuff, and he...
When did you interview Vitaly?
Maybe 3 years ago or something.
There you go,
but it was right when he started the Uncensored site.
Right.
It was doing really well for himself, and so his team was talking to us, and he had been trying to convince me, like, you need to do an X-rated pay site. And so,
right, but dude, he had like, I would see on Twitter people saying, dude, Vitaly, I'm trying to...
I can't cancel subscription.
I'm trying to cancel my subscription and it won't let me. Like, it was like... That
also makes me glad that I didn't do that then, because okay, so the company's trying to get us to like do maybe like an X-rated version of the podcast or whatever, and so me and my girl are talking about it with them and everything, and like over time we start to be like, well, why the fuck are we gonna give them a big percentage of it when we could do all this shit ourselves? Like, we know how to hire filmers, we know how to promote, we know how to, like, really we couldn't really think of that much that they were gonna be bringing to the table, and they were pushing us to go in more of like a lighthearted, like, just show the nipples while we're doing the interview thing. And I'm like, that's cool, but realistically, I think that there's a direction that this is going, that like people pay for porn, people pay for podcasts. Somebody's going to do this eventually. Me and you both know that we can do it, that we're comfortable having the conversations and doing the fucking, so why don't we just go for it? And so, but my mentality on it has kind of grown even from there, where now I think of Plug Talk as being this overall like porn media company where I'm trying to just like make a bunch of cool content through it in general. Like right now we're trying to figure out another podcast under our network where it's basically going to be two dudes who interview a chick and then they fucking double team the girl together. So it'll be like kind of a different spin-off on what me and my girl are doing. So I think that there's probably a bunch of different stuff that we could kind of do in this world.
dude, it's epic.
I know. I was like, dude, I should put on Pornhub like, 130-day load and see like how many downloads it gets and just see how big the load is.
Dude, I thought about your
You should
celibacy like the last time I saw you in Waco, and I thought to ask you, but I was like, I don't want to,
In case I slipped and it was been on a couple conversation.
It felt like kind of personal. Like
no, that's cool. I mean, I went on a date last weekend and it was cool. Like I got to go on like 10 dates before I sleep with a chick to like really get to know somebody.
That's the rule you've given yourself?
I mean, I would like 3 dates, but like, I'm in consultation with somebody and they're like, dating plan, get to know them, and maybe go to like 6 to 10 dates before you start engaging sexual, because like, my problem is if I sleep with them on the first night and the sex is really good and there's just all these red flags that I'm ignoring, but the sex is so good I want more, then I'm in this fucking like toxic cycle with this person,
And it's worse than that because you're attracted to the toxic.
Yeah.
So like that's.
I prefer the toxic.
I respect that because looking back on my life, there was a bunch of dudes I knew in my life who were very selective about who they would give dick to. Like they were like good looking guys or guys that girls liked, and they just decided like, no, I'm gonna have girlfriends, or when I do fuck a girl randomly, it's only gonna be because I really like her or I really think she's super hot or whatever. And I went the total opposite way, where I was like Amazon, like I'll fuck anything, we'll sell anything. I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it, whatever. And I just wanted the experience. I don't know, I just wasn't worried about fucking some fat girl that I met at the bar. Like, all right, I'm just gonna do it, you know. And when I look back at my life, I'm like, clearly it would have been better for me to be a bit more selective.
But like at the end of the day, with you and your girl, like it's not all just sex. Like you guys are like best friends or friends, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like that's important.
It's like going hiking together,
right?
Banging a different chick together. It's funny though, because it's like you are dealing with like the negative like side of like being overly sexed, kind of like with what you're talking about, whereas like a lot of times people want to ask me like if I have that kind of relationship with it, and I'm like, honestly, I feel like doing this kind of content has given me a way healthier relationship with sex, because it's just totally demystified it, where it's like once banging a bunch of chicks at one time is like your job for the day, and it's just kind of the thing that you're showing up and doing, that totally just removes this layer of, I don't know, like the way sex just seems like this thing that you just want so bad, and it's so exotic and special and fetishized, and a lot of that kind of goes away once you get used to doing it as a job.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it's cool to see you and Lux are like best friends, you know?
Yeah.
Like I want that, because at the end of the day, the sex is gonna, you're not gonna be, like there's different things that you're gonna want to be attracted to. You're gonna want to be attracted to spiritually or emotionally, versus just physically.
Yeah.
Whereas like my problem is, as soon as the physical wears off, or like the sexual, I'm just like, oh my god, I'm over it. But if there's other things that are built before that, I think it's just kind of, you know, I don't get in the relationships for long periods of time, and that's part of the problem.
Right.
Because as soon as like I'm over the sex, I'm just like late.
Right. It's weird for me too now though, because we got a kid, and my girl, we want to have another kid, at least one more, but then meanwhile my girl's making all this money on OnlyFans, and we're doing all this content together, and it's like part of me wants to be like, hey, fuck all this shit, like you could just chill, keep pumping out babies, I'll make the money. But then like, you know, it's like she's kind of wrapped up with like her sense of self is wrapped up in how she looks, and she doesn't want to necessarily just like, she's kind of torn, because she's like 30. She's like, do I want to do this porn shit for another 4 years and then have a couple kids, or do I want to have another kid right now and then get back to doing more content? You know, it's kind of like, it's weirder for her, whereas for me, I could just show up, do it, and it is what it is. You know, like having babies just puts such a stress on a girl's body.
I think that clip was awesome, but not as awesome as my new book, A Hard Kick in the Nuts, What I've Learned from a Lifetime of Terrible Decisions, which is out September 27th, and if you pre-order it right now, you can get the autographed copy. So get on it, man. Pre-order my book. It's not going to waste your time, because I'm proven, dude. New York Times bestseller. My first book's 5-star rated on Amazon, and I have no doubt this one will be too. So get the autographed copy right now by pre-ordering it at stevo.com.
Yeah, dude.